What's up, boys and girls? Over the weekend, I watched the hit Korean movie, Along with the Gods, The Two Worlds.
So after you watched this film, you showed me the trailer. And the trailer looked intriguing, although I have to say it kind of looked a little muddled. I wasn't sure exactly what the film was entailing and what it was trying to do. What did you get out of this film? What was it about? What was the premise about?
Well, this movie is based on a webcomic that's very popular. And it's about this firefighter who ends up dying. But after he ends up dying, he gets into the afterworld. And the afterworld isn't so simple. He has to go through 7 trials. And these 7 trials, after you go through 7 trials in 49 days, you're able to be reincarnated. So that's like the goal. You go through these 7 trials, and each of these trials look back onto your life.
Okay.
So they look on back to your life, they see whether or not you were deceitful and you were lying. Also, whether or not you live life to the fullest.
Right.
And these are all a couple examples of these 7 trials that you have to pass. And if you pass, then you're able to be reincarnated. If not, off to hell for you.
Off to hell.
I think the story in itself is very interesting. I like the premise. Now you talk about some things that could have got convoluted. I feel like the movie was a little too long and it tried to pack too much into it. There was a lot of subplots and a lot of unnecessary scenes in it that I think could have been cut. That seemed like just fat to the story. That didn't serve the story too much. Now this story could have been very simple, and it sounds very simple, and they had to add other layers to it to make it seem to make it even more interesting, which is kudos to them. But at the same time, I feel like there's certain things where they introduce a bad spirit and it kind of messes things up, and one of the spirits that is helping the main character has to go into the real world, which is a cool thing because he's technically prevented from going to the real world. It's a rule that they have in the outer world. But at the same time, when he goes there, his mission and him trying to discover things is a little too complicated. It's a little too much to it. And I feel like it really detracted away from the story to a point where you're thinking this movie's kind of dragging a little bit. Like I know kind of where this movie is going,
where it wants to go,
but it's still kind of dragging. And I feel like there's a lot of scenes that they could have tightened up quite a bit, and some subplots and some storylines that they could have cut out completely. Well, I'm gonna say the kid from, or at least not a kid anymore, but the guy from My Sassy Girl, he does a great job crying in a lot of this. And guess what? This movie is a huge tearjerker.
Your kind of movie.
My kind of movie. Whole third act was crying, and I watched this movie with a bunch of groups of Koreans, and they all had sniffles. I could hear sniffles through the entire theater, and I've heard a lot of reviews from other people who have watched in theaters, and they said that the theater was, tears all around. Wow. So if you're really into a movie that is gonna make you cry, and a movie that concentrates on family and it concentrates on the relationship between a brother and another brother and their mother, and like the struggle through life, and some decisions that you make when you're younger that you kind of regret later on.
We all have those.
Some more than others. But it's definitely, it'll tug at your heartstrings, because who doesn't have a mother that they love?
Everybody has a mother
that they love.
I hope.
Yes, and this definitely harps on that. And like I said, if you really like to cry and you really like emotional movies, this one is definitely top 5 of the year.
2017?
Yes.
Or 2018?
I cried a lot in The Taxi Driver.
Right.
And I'll have to say that I cried even more in this one.
Really?
Albeit it's a little bit more, but this movie
I thought Taxi Driver was like tearjerker up there.
Ooh, but imagine tearjerker even more unfair. That's what this was. But it's definitely, like I said, it's a good cry. Well, I like to say that this movie was very melodramatic.
Okay.
But at the same time, it wanted to be very melodramatic.
Right.
It didn't pull any punches. It went full on with the dramedy.
Dramedy?
So I can understand, I've read some reviews that people actually didn't like this, because if you're not into a story, you're not into a movie, you're not going to end up crying into it. You're going to end up thinking that it's really corny, you're going to think that it's trying to make you cry. Manipulative. But I think in this movie, there are some people definitely who could feel that way, but I think if you are a normal person
and who has feelings,
yes, and you're able to kind of suspend disbelief, at least. I mean, you're watching a movie. You should be able to suspend this at least a little bit.
It's entertainment to a certain extent.
Yeah, and you connect with the characters, and definitely the spirits are great characters to connect with, and they really make the movie. But also the relationships between the families. I think you won't have a problem crying to this, and but I understand if you think it is too melodramatic at the very end.
Right.
So overall, I give this film an 8.
8
out of 10.
Nice.
Cry factor 4.5 out of 5.
5
I think
out of 5.
definitely this is a pretty cool movie, man.
Nice.
The CGI is pretty cool too.
It looked like it was really nice when I was watching the preview. I was like, this has way more to it than I thought it did. You know, when you told me about it and you said, oh, I watched this Korean film, I'm like, okay, probably a nice little independent. No, this seemed like a big blockbuster.
So much money was spent on the CGI and it looks really nice.
Nice.
So I think, don't get misled by the trailer. It's not like a huge action-packed flick where you I thought originally he was going to each of these 7 gods.
And everybody's
kill everyone with his firefighter skills.
The Raid in Hell.
Yes,
Come on.
the Raid in Hell 3. No, it's not like that. It's a tearjerker. It's about relationships. It's about calling your mom. At the end of the movie, you want to call your mom.
Call your mom.
If you've seen it, comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you cried, because I cried.
He always cries.
I always cry. But this is Black and Yellow Movies. If you like this, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. Guess what?
We're also on Instagram at Black and Yellow Movies, where you can find movie facts. You can be up to date, stay up to date on all the latest news, independent, foreign, some blockbusters, but mostly the stuff that we like. So you can stay up to date on Black and Yellow Movies on Instagram.
So this was our review for Along with the Gods, The Two Worlds, and we'll see you guys next time.